In this video, we're going to look at working with still images in Premiere Pro. So I have just an empty project here. And so if I go to the media browser, I can go to the folder that I have all my stuff in. And that's one way we can bring in our images. And if I bring in this image here, the duration that it's going to come in, its default duration is going to be set up at the beginning. So if I go to Premiere Pro, Preferences, General, and here I can see that the still frame image's duration is 100. I'll put it about 150 frames. It's about 5 seconds. And click OK. And now I'll go ahead and bring this JPEG image in and drag it over. And then I'll drop it into my timeline over here. And I should now see it over here in my project tab. I can see here is the image, the JPEG image. You can see the size is rather large. It's larger than the I set it. So notice that I brought it in over here, and you can only see part of the image because this is the full image right here, and that's because the image came in larger than the sequence settings. So if I look at the sequence settings here, these are set at 720 by 480, and you can see that we were bringing it in at 3000 by 1700 here for the image. Let's first of all take a look at details about the image. So I drag it over and you can see here's the in point and the out point, and the duration is 5 seconds like we had hoped. Here we can see the size difference, right side by side. People a lot of times will just try to change the size of this by just they'll come over here and right click or control click and choose to scale to frame size, and what that'll do is it'll actually lose some resolution. So if I hit the letter V here and double click and up in my effects control area, when we go into motion, here's the scale, and it's 100 right now. So if I control click on this and I change this to scale to frame size, you see it now fits in here, but it's still at this 100%, which means that if I were to zoom up again to that where that leg was, that this quality will be, the resolution here isn't as good. So if you look at it side by side, you can see this is the original here, and here it is now because we shrunk it down and then brought it back up again, which causes a problem. So instead of doing this, if I control click on here, I can uncheck scale. That brings it right back up again. The other thing you could do is just to scale down here. So 100%, we're actually pretty zoomed in. So we actually go down in order to see the entire image, which means that we have more resolution here. You can see that we can also change the position and motion and all that type of stuff. We'll do that in a second with the next image. And we know how to bring it in at a certain duration. We can also drag this out to have it last longer. And I'm going to make the whole thing larger to fill the entire screen. And I can even come over to this, click on it, and drag. Okay. Now let's look at if we were to bring in another file that had some transparency. So we'll go back to the media browser. This is Jamdoll. This is a Photoshop document that has multiple layers, and I'll just give you a quick peek at it. Here it is, all the layers right here, and you can see there's transparency channel behind it. So we want to bring that in. So I double clicked on it and clicked to drag it to our timeline. And that brought in the PSD as a merged file here. So when I drag it on, it's acting just like an image, but it has transparency. So if I scale this down, we'll go back to the effects. And you can see the black area right there is actually the transparency area, and I can tell that by placing this on top of the other one. And as you can see, now they composite very nicely, and I can lock the bottom layer, and then get a hold of this layer by selecting the motion area and position her where we want her to start. We'll start right off the set here, and we'll add a keyframe. Set it, go out some time, and we'll change the position as she's popping up. And then you can have her pop down again. So we'll have her pop down here. Okay. Unlock this layer. Let's do a little adjustment. And here we have it. And she's coming up, looking around, and she's going back down. So there we have movement with images, and we brought in a Photoshop document as a merge document, and you can see the transparency. Let's just do another import. So we'll do a control click right here in the project area, choose import, and select that Photoshop document again. Now if we do this and import, we get an option here to choose to merge all the layers, which is what we just saw, or just layers that are merged, or bring in just specific individual layers that you select by these checkboxes, or bring everything in as a sequence. So let's check out the last one, the sequence. So if we choose sequence, we get to still make sure and choose which layer we want. We might not want all of the layers. And then click OK. And what happens is that this folder with all of the individual layers is created for us to be able to use, and also a sequence. And here's the sequence. If I double click it, you can see that this sequence, as soon as it renders, will show you that it has all of the parts. There's the dress and the shoes and everything. So we can actually nest this onto another. So if I go into this area right here, we could also just click and drag that above, and then select it and go into the effects control and scale it way down again. Okay, and now we actually have a composition with all three of them, as you can see. Now if we want to, we can go right inside of the sequence and we can stretch out certain parts, and let's go ahead and change this to fit. And you can see all of the different parts here, and we could even choose to move certain parts. Have fun with this, and I'll see you next time.